comes a time when we heed a certain call, when the world must come together as one.
There are people dying.
Oh, and it's time to lend a hand to life, the greatest gift of all.
Malnutrition is a condition resulting from lack of intake or uptake of nutrition. The person may take adequately, but it is not utilized by the body. So when you have such issues, it's going to result to malnutrition. This can be undernutrition or overnutrition. But mostly, especially in this part, the hospitalized patient is likely to come down with undernutrition. That's according to World Health Organization 2021. So malnutrition continues to be under-recognized, under-diagnosed, and under-treated problem in our hospital settings. As I said earlier, if that is not the primary issue that brought the patient, we hardly address such in our hospital settings. It's only when it is very pronounced that we go ahead treating it. Am I communicating? Yes. So we are going to start by knowing what screening is all about. Screening is a medical process used to identify healthy people who may be at risk, increased risk of a disease or condition, even if they don't have the symptoms yet. As I said earlier, this patient may not present the symptoms. That is a micronutrient deficiency and all that, macronutrient deficiency. They may not present it, but when you do the screening, when you assess them, you go extra mile to assess them, you will see that it's a problem there. Nutrition screening is defined as a process of identifying an individual who may be malnourished or at risk for malnutrition to determine if a detailed nutritional assessment is indicated. The causes of malnutrition: reduced food intake, as in illnesses, as when a patient undergoes surgery, as in anorexia on its own. Increased nutritional needs, or as we said, reduced food intake, as in illnesses, different types of illnesses. When somebody is ill, the appetite of the person is likely to decrease. When some people have surgery, abdominal surgeries or different types of surgery, they are likely to have reduced appetite, or the managing team may intentionally restrict diet at that point. And we need to address the nutritional aspect of the person. If the person cannot feed normally through the oral route, that is when the enteral or parenteral nutrition comes in. Then when there are other diseases like diabetes or any other disease, hypertension and all that, we know that we address the nutritional needs of the patient. So when there's increased nutritional needs, as in cases of infection, when there's infection, the body is battling to meet up with the nutritional needs of the individual. And when there's injury, like a trauma in any form, it can be head injury, it can be blunt abdominal injury, whatever injury, the body is battling with that injury to normalize things and putting workload on the nutritional composition of that individual. So we need to address such cases when we have them in the hospital. When we have malnutrition, malabsorption syndrome. Some people have malabsorption syndrome, some people have short bowel syndrome. Such patients, when you have them on the ward, please, it is paramount that we address their nutritional needs, not just the surgical aspect or the medical aspect of their condition. Then, as I said, diseases like cancers, like renal failure and all that, we have to address their nutritional needs. when there's NPO, I said when the managing team intentionally places the patient on NPO, nil per oral, that patient's nutritional need must be addressed, especially when it exceeds 5 days. You can't just put a patient, the patient is on intravenous infusion for 5 days, for 1 week, for 2 weeks, and the nutritional aspect. Parenteral nutrition is not addressed, and the enteral nutrition, such cases, they must stop after this conference.
You all may have known in Nigeria the high rate of malnutrition, especially in children, under the age of 5. And globally, we know that about 45% of illnesses are always caused by malnutrition. So because of these statistics, it underscores the importance of nutrition. And when it is not, tackled early, like our first presenter has mentioned, it actually leads to complications. So in Nigeria, for today, we know that 37% of our children are malnourished, 18% are stunted, and 29% are wasted. So it's a huge thing that we are gathering this morning to be able to talk about this. So these are the indicators for parenteral and enteral nutrition support, in PEM, in micronutrient deficiency, in malabsorption syndromes, in cancer-related malnutrition, neurological disorders, chronic illnesses, post-surgical malnutrition, and eating disorders. So we will just, this is just an explanation of what enteral nutrition. Like Dr. Pans actually told us during the introduction, my relationship with WASPEN has actually helped me to build a lot of capacity in this aspect. And that was because I became very inquisitive. In 2020, when we had COVID, as the lead dietitian that was working with the frontline health workers, at the time I was like, I told my CMD, I said, I don't know what to do. Because when we keep talking about equipping the nutrition and dietetics section, it seems as if, what are we talking about? So it was a huge problem. It was a huge gap for us in our Niger Delta University Teaching Hospital. I had to start making calls here and there, went online. In fact, at the time, I was doing F100 and F75 for the adults because that was what was available. And except for the very high profile patients that we had in admission in the isolated wards, isolation ward, we find it difficult to give them what they actually needed. So as sometimes we started looking for Ensure products, but even at then, before this product would come, it took a lot of time. So in 2021, when I heard about WASPEN, I was very interested, and I connected, through the support of my friend in Uniport, and we're like, what is this WASPEN all about? And I started making inquiries. And then we started, coming for the conferences, and ever since then, I personally have built a whole lot of capacity in that, and I'm also a member of WASPEN as of today. So going forward, in Nigeria, I know that there's a whole lot of gap for us dietitians. Just like Dr. Pound says, in the US and some other advanced countries, dietitians are doing a lot in the aspect of even administering enteral fees and all of that. So we need this capacity. We are not saying that those that are actually doing it are not doing it well, but we know that the gap is huge. So going forward, these are some of the vital skills that are very, very much required for dietitians in formulating these enteral fees. So nutrition assessment, very important. We need to do that first, just like it has been explained. When a patient comes, we do the anthropometric assessment. We also do the biochemical assessment, that is the test. We look at it, we look at the figures that the laboratory scientist, has done in their medical investigation. We look at the electrolytes, we look at the cholesterol level and all of that. So that is a tool for us that we use in assessing our patient, and also we take the dietary history. Very important. What is this patient be feeding on? You know, what are the cultural barriers that is not making them, you know, take what they actually take and all of that? And you know, when it now comes to enteral feeding, which means that we are going to be feeding these patients, you know, from nasogastric tubes and all of that, we need to be able to use what is available, accessible, available and safe for these patients. So we have to have a very good understanding of formulas of digestion, of absorption and assimilation of nutrients. This is very key because at that critical stage, what we are providing, if it is not absorbed and well digested, you know, it will also continue to make that patient to be malnourished. Then we talk about the recipe development, very key. For dietitians, we actually need to create this, you know, try a whole lot of recipe and come up with something that is cost effective, nourishing, tasteful, and presentable for that. So we are going to do some basic recipe development. That's why you have all these foods present here. So we also talk about the consistency, flavor, and calorie density, which we have to put all this together to ensure that our recipe is balanced in calories, in proteins, and in all of the food nutrients. It has to be complete. Clinical experts managing malnutrition or medical condition and understanding drug-nutrient interactions. Like we all know that as a collaborative effort in managing malnutrition, there has to be this collaboration that ensures that there is no drug-drug interaction and drug-food interactions.
Blender, food processor, measuring tools, sievers, strainers, thermometers, our storage containers, feeding equipment, mixing bowls. These are things that I believe that we are all familiar with it. I'm trying to rush it so that we'll go into the practical section. Then what we'll be doing today is we're going to be producing sweet potato pap. I don't know how many of us have heard of sweet potato pap. You know, as dietitians, one of the things that we need to do is to diversify and do research, discover we can change something into something. There was a day I was cooking rice and my daughter said, "Mommy, there's no stew." I said, "There's stew." She said she did not see stew. I said, "You see stew." Did you know what I do? I use corn flour and make stew with it. So this is what we are talking about, food diversification. What do we do? Even though we are talking about parenteral nutrition, what about the community, that is the end general? After when the person have left the hospital, what happens? What should they continue? And we know financial constraint, most especially now in the current situation of Nigeria, people need to learn how to use something to produce something. I tell women in the antenatal clinic, if your meat wants to spoil, turn it into bush meat. Abi? We are all eating bush meat now. If you cook your meat and it wants to spoil, turn it into bush meat so that we avoid waste. And I believe one of the reasons why Nigeria is having issue of poverty and hunger, waste is one of it. If you make research, waste is one of it. I know a lot of people who cook and at the end of the day you see the food has spoiled, we end up throwing it. So let's try to work on it even as dietitians. So sweet potato, this is something that personally I made a discovery on my own, and I did it, and I did practical on it, and I tested it, and today we are going to do the practical here. We all are going to test it. It's something so delicious, and I was like, it means we've not really discovered so many things. There are lots that needs to be discovered. So I won't go into the method of preparation because it's like will be shared to us. We have the high energy mix, which is the habits. We're going to be using different ingredients, pap or roll out. When we start the preparation, we'll all see it so that we'll now, maybe when we go back to our slide, we'll see. Then we have the nuts butter protein shake. It depends on what you want to achieve. Let's remember this. As professional health workers, it depends on what we want to achieve. There are instances where somebody may have high proteinemia, maybe low protein, very low even calorie or high calorie. It depends on what you want to achieve. But the idea here is that it's for you to have a knowledge of something that you can do. A lot of women are coming down with a lot of anemia and whatever. It's not as if the food is not available. I've learned to diversify. I've learned to turn something into another tea. Then we have the creamy avocado and yogurt mix, coconut rice pudding. Well, in this coconut rice pudding, we are going to be doing what we call vegetable rice pudding. How many of you have used vegetable in your pap? Vegetable in your pap? None. Okay, today we are going to have a different, we're going to learn this today, at least. It's part of food fortification to increase our micronutrients. In conclusion, today's workshop has provided invaluable insight to all the critical roles of dietitian in formulating healthy recipes for enteral nutrition support. Now, understanding malnutrition, recognizing the various forms of malnutrition and their implications on patient health is very important. But the funny part of it is that I have somebody who said a dietitian cannot even advise him, and I asked why. He said, I'm obese, the dietitian is also obese. And he advised me. Now, what we don't really know is that your patient is looking at you when you're talking to your patient. So you need to live as an example. When you're talking to your patient, he needs to see reality in you. Because you cannot tell me that, Oga, you are obese, and I'm looking at you while you are obese. Now, the two of us obese now.
Just for concept, enteral nutrition is food, in other words, but it's food that have to pass inside to feed, of course. So have to have the smaller or have characteristics that can float inside this without stacking it. Also have to have all these nutrients. So a person to survive has to have carbohydrates, proteins, fat, the ratio of fats between nitrogen, that is protein inside. You have to have all the vitamins that you have to have every day, and the trace elements, and also the minerals. So you have to have all those components combined in one formula to get a good nutrition. Come back, please. Go back. No. Back. So this is not a new concept. We know that Hippocrates, before Chris, already told that food is our medicine, so it's not something new. Everyone knows that food is so important that if we don't have our breakfast today, some people get mad, angry, get aggressive. You know that. Imagine our patients. Imagine our patients. Go a little bit further, please. So, malnutrition, dependence of what classification you do it, gets worse, the infection, because your immune system don't work without you. The healing process gets lower. I'm a surgeon, so my surgery don't works well because you don't have the healing process. So that's not work either. You get edema, you get a decreased muscle strength, then you got increased mortality, the morbidity of each disease increase also, and the time of that patient in the bed in the hospital increase a lot. So it's a great impact because it's a cost impact, and also a cost because when you have a bed that is occupied, another person cannot use it. So it's another thing that we have to think about it. So this increased costs and the governance period of each disease. So it's so important, the nutrition assessment of the patient. Next, please. So I like to talk to my students in Brazil. This is a graph about the percentage of patients that have malnutrition. But just think about something. Think about gastric cancer. The patient is in the countryside here in Nigeria and have a gastric disease. How that the patient goes to the hospital to get the surgery, and how many time take to get there? Because the first symptoms will be a fewness, like discomfort, something very mildly, and he goes to somebody that knows a little bit, and no, change the food. And then he goes to general practice, make some AG blocker or proton pump inhibitor, and then goes wrong, a little bit better, but to get endoscopy, to have a biopsy, to get a surgery, it takes months, sometimes years. So that's the process that every patient that gets to the hospital has malnutrition. So it's something that we cannot, how do I say, we cannot prevent. It's something that happens, unfortunately, happens. In Brazil, 60% of the patients that get into the hospital for whatever the treatment it is, get malnutrition. So it's something that is very prevalent. Next, please. And, of course, the best will be that, food for the patient. But, as I said, the patient cannot eat orally, or can eat orally, but not the total nutrients that he requires. So we have to have a tool to enhance that. That's enteral nutrition. That's why, next please. That's why enteral nutrition, this is, in Brazil, this is, I do hear that igloo, it's a, you deliver food. When you can deliver food to the hospital, so the next please. Next. So that's why it's born enteral nutrition. That's a formula, a different formula. And it was born a long time ago. Next please. Actually it was born in the space exploration. When there was a Cold War between Soviet Union and United States, they have that Cold War, so they studied to get to the moon faster as it could, and then the Soviet Union made the Sputnik, was a satellite. And I have also here the sound of the satellite. Just a second. Just a second. So imagine you are at your home watching your radio in the 6 in the United States, and then you see something that in your radio. So the guys get furious about that. So they study a lot to develop some food that you can send to this space. So that's why they condense all those proteins, all the vitamins, all this fat inside a small package to send to the space. That's why the born was nutrition. Next one, please. And also used in the military warfare also. Next, please. Until today, and this is the International Space Station, the astronauts here is carrying. Of course, they eat food. Food is a social event. When you take someone, let's go to the dinner sometime. But the total of nutrients come from enteral nutrition, even today in the space. Next, please. So it's not something new, as I said. This is a paper from '69 that's already telling the benefits of enteral nutrition intervention for the patient. So something it's well known. Just for information, in Brazil, in the United States, 50% of the low care bed hospitals have enteral nutrition. First of all, the enteral formulas. There is types of different enteral formulas. Let me show you. This is the powder version. Okay, this is a powder that you mix with water, and you follow the instructions. Here you get 1.0 density of calorie, but you can increase it, but in exchange of that osmolality and viscosity. So if you increase a lot, you get clots. So that's something that you have aware about it. But the standard of the powder is 1.0. Depends also if you want to do something orally. Like in Brazil, we got a lot of problem with women with pregnancy. They got malnutrition. So we do enteral nutrition for them to eat, like to do, like a boost the nutrition for the patient, for the baby birth, have a good birth. So we use this also orally. That's why have a vanilla flavor. You can do also put in some type of local food, something that increase the value of the nutrition by itself. Okay? So this is the powder version. There is an open system. This is the open system. What is the open system? It's already made. So you just put in a syringe, or you can use those type of bottles. This is a plastic, this is a disposable plastic bottle that has already a connector for the tube feeding. Here. Okay, but okay, you got it. So it's connect here, and then you can modify the caliber here, and then you see the drops, and you put by gravity in the patient. Okay, this is a way. Another way is the closed system. The closed system is already like a bottle of this. It have already a connector inside that you put the tube directly. Let me show you. So it goes directly. So if you open, the fluid. So it's like a closed system. It's called closed system. That's the difference between the formula. So there's open, the powder version, and the closed system. There is another type of formula. This is powder also, but it's intact. It's easy to distribute to the patient. And also we have the thickener. What is a thickener? When the patient goes out from the enteral nutrition, he gets back to oral nutrition. So this is a liquid formula. So you put thinner to make it like a powdering, like a cream, and you can eat by a spoon. So you get the adaptation to the solid food. So you can use like a thickener for it.
Okay.
Yes, a position.
Okay. Yeah.
So there is different types of nasogastral tubes. I show you here. This is two. Let me show this one. This is a nasogastral tube. In the tip of the tube, you see there is some like a metallic point. This is for X-ray. So when you put X-ray, you know where the tip is.
Okay.
And also to have a little bit of aid, but not go back to the lungs of the patient. So have a little bit of it. And also has a guide, like a wire guide, to get it more stiffness when you insert the tube. So that's the guide here. And has two tips, one for water, that you said, and one for enteral nutrition. And also some types of medication you can put also. But be careful. If you put pills, you can get clogged, and then you have to take up the probe, so it's very difficult, very painful for the patient. What else? There is different types of nasogastric. There is a unit called French. French is the caliber of the thing. There's this one is for children. You see, it's small, tiny. Go ahead, please. No, it's open. It's important. This is too open. It's too see. So this depends, and that is important also when you choose the formula. If you do a formula with high concentration, you can draw a small French one. So this is important also to be aware about that. So if you do a high density formula with a small French, you can get clots. Still, we do with a tape by itself, this type of tape here, put the tape here, to secure the tub when you insert. So it's very easy. But here, just back a little bit here, then we will adjust this way. Okay, so when you secure, you can use it to secure the tube feeding for the patient, like that. Okay, it's very easy. You can use. So how you can make insertion? First of all, you have to talk to the patient because it's not a comfort by any means. So you have to explain the patient that we're gonna insert a tube feeding, and the patient, if the patient is awake, you can talk. If not, you have to have some measures. I'm gonna talk to you. But how much length you have to put inside the patient? It's very easy. You put the tip of the tube by the ear lobe, the side of the lobe, and then put, search for the Shyford process, and then you mark it down. You can mark it with a pen, or if you can do it easily with the tape. So that's it. The length, but you have to insert inside the patient. Okay. First inspection, see which nair is more wide open. You can ask for the patient to blow some air. You put some. You see which nostril is more blowing air, so you can choose which one is best to insert the tube. And then have to put the patient in a position that we can address. It's good to put the hand behind the hand because he hesitates because it's painful, of course. But before that, you have to lubricate the tip. Of course, I have to wear gloves, everything. Okay, I put here, but because it's the time. But you have to lubricate the tip of the opening because it's not. You can use water-based lubricants, no problem at all. Some patient that is more sensitive, you can use silicone also. So you lubricate the tip a little bit, and then gently you can ask for the patient to put the chin in the chest because it's help a lot. Choose which nostril you're gonna access, and then put straightly and quickly. No need to slowly, but quickly. If when the patient gets the nasogastric tube in the throat, they're gonna cough a little bit. But if it's away, you can put some water if it's possible to drink, to swallow, and helps the process. So you go straight down until the mark that you have done. Okay, it's in place. So you put the secure, as I did that. Secure here, secure, and then it's placed. But how I know there is not in the lungs of the patient? Because if I put enteral nutrition in the lung of the patient, again, die, make the patient die. So how can I see it? I can do it in several ways. The most easy way, and you can put some air, blow some air. You can take off the guideline here. Sorry. Blow some air inside, and auscultate and hypoculture. If you see there is going to the stomach of the patient. Another way is aspirate a little bit and see if the liquid is acid. How can I see if the liquid is acid? It's very easy. You can use those spoon and
The land is green, it's green, oh, oh. The land is green, it's green, can't you see? The harvest is ready, 'cause the Lord of the harvest told me so. It's green for me. It's green for me. Standing alone can be a heavy load, but my vows I won't be breaking. Though my heart is aching, I got a word and I won't let go. It's your will I'm seeking, so I keep on believing. I see it now, I understand, I know so I embrace it. Dance. Once again, it's time for me to grow. For every prayer and every tear I've sown, Lord of the harvest knows I'm reaping joy 100-fold. The land is green, it's green, oh, oh. The land is green, it's green, can't you see? The harvest is ready, 'cause the Lord of the harvest told me so. It's green for me. I thought it was over, thought you were done with me, but we're just beginning. Whoa, my life is a journey. I will walk with you, I will go where you want me to. Yes, I will go.
Come on.
He told me that the land is green. Hey, yeah. The land is green. It's green. Oh, oh. The land is green. It's green. Can't you see?
This is a F75 feed, and we normally use it for management of malnutrition. It contains basically most of the nutrients that are required. So you can take a look and see the nutrient profile here. And then this is the F100 that you can, aggravate from F75. We are happy that we are able to get this, but actually it's no longer available. Even in my facility, we've not gotten it for a very long time. The flopping not here. And we are told that these are all prepared, they are produced in Kano here. So I don't think there is need for us to be kind of, patronizing the ones that are foreign, because they are usually very expensive. During the conference, we'll be meeting the rep that brought this, so you can actually get in contact with him. So these are produced in Kano here in Nigeria, and they are made from unusual granite, then incorporated with all other nutrients that are required. Alright, so we have our rice here. We will build a recipe that the basis will be rice. Then these are all grains, whole grains that can be processed. We all know that 45 pack. These are the basis. The corn, and we have the yellow maize here. We all know the process. Because of time, will not permit us to start explaining the process of making pap. But this one is already prepared. This is already prepared, and it's bought from the market. Then there are some that are actually made from the other grains. The whole grain will be brownish. Yeah, we believe that that is a bit more nutrient dense because of the color, the vitamin A, coloration, and all of that. Then we know our universal grain, soya bean, which Dr. Polo made use of. From all these things we made is from soya bean. So we have granite here. This is a fresh granite that was just milled, cleaned and milled. We are going to be able to make the recipe for potato. We'll just see it here. These are our measuring pots to measure quantity, which is very important, and our electric weigh. So we need to weigh. This is for fats, incorporating fats in it. Well, we sometimes believe that we can use avocado as well, which is very rich in glycerides, and we'll be making the recipe from it shortly. You see that. Adding lemon and all of that. Banana highly has a lot of fiber, has a lot of calories as well in terms of sugar and B vitamins.
We want to start with the potato pap, since already we have the potato. I don't know, maybe we can just come a little bit closer so that we'll see how we cook it. This is the sweet potato. You can cut it into your desired size that you want. Now, one good thing about this pap is that in a situation where there is no light, because when you're dealing with community, you allow it to cook very well till it have a consistency that looks like pap. At least maybe when it looks like pap, then you can mash your potato. But as we go on, I'll just explain. But this we are going to use the blender for it. So what you do when you are blending it depends on what you use. Also make sure that everything is balanced. You use granules or you use soya beans milk. It depends on what is available. But whichever way you want. If you want to also mix even the granules and still add commercial or industrial milk, is still fine. This goes for any kind of person, adult and children, but when you are using milk, you don't use adult milk for children. So we are going to be adding small watermelon into it. We'll also blend together. Because we want to improve the micronutrients content of the So our potato pap is ready. So we're going to put it in the cup. At least, I don't know how we're going to do it, who is going to test. Our potato pap is ready. Just like I said, I will be adding the milk. If you want it, I have to just be putting the milk small because it's like almost everybody wants to. Micronutrients. It's a top notch for weight gain and for management of malnutrition. Which one? Okay, so just to add a little bit of calories, we are adding orange flesh potato. Here is orange flesh potato. We are adding to the avocado. Which is, it's going to add more calories.
calorie. More calorie. So let it. You know, we use different bases. Different bases. We can use potato as a base. We can use rice. We can use soya bean, pap. So these are various varieties. What we have here is avocado and orange flesh. We are adding more water because the consistency is pretty. Then we can go ahead and can add banana. Just a little bit of banana for sweetener. But for adults, you can try to add honey. Honey too is rich in some probiotics and is also a sweetener. So these are options. And it's also a high calorie sweetener. Okay? So watermelon is an option, but it's here, so we can just add it. And then we blend thoroughly. After that, we are going to add a pinch of lemon. Lemon, vitamin C, and all of that. We can actually still add boiled egg to increase the protein content. Yes, we can add boiled egg, cooked egg. Add it inside, then blend. So these are our lemon. Lemon is very juicy. So we just this is the yogurt. We don't actually need to cook everything. Like 3 or 4 tablespoons of what? Okay. Of yogurt, Greek yogurt, unsweetened. So you can see that if we have means of preserving all of this for a day, the patient will be able to meet up the caloric requirements. It's helpful for gut microbiome. You get that? Boil the egg, so we just heated the egg. But ideally, I want to add the egg for protein, very important. We didn't get boiled. Anyway, since we cannot add egg, we can add milk. You know that milk is also a very good source of protein. This is a high calorie meal, very high calorie, vitamins for weight gain, malnutrition for children and HIV patients and so we are just using the milk instead of the egg. No sugar. I think of course, cancer patients, oncology patients, this will go well for them. So we added banana and all of that.
Somewhere will soon make a change.
We are all part of God's great big family.
And the truth, you know, love is all we need. We are the world. We are the children. We are the ones who make a brighter day. So let's start giving.
There's a
I want to do this. That's the rice vegetable pudding. Rice vegetable pudding. So the first thing is for you to have your groundnut paste. This is a local rice that we saw it here. It's a white rice. You can soak it. After soaking it, you blend. You put your groundnut paste on the fire, allow it to cook. After cooking, when it's boiling, then you turn your blended rice. This is the blended rice I'll be adding.
What is on fire? Rice vegetable.
So it's in two ways. You can decide when it's boiling, you bring it down and you mix it. But the reason why I mix it on fire, I'm going to blend because I will be adding the vegetable while blending. Okay, for the vegetable, you can decide to use lentils, you can decide to use cabbage. At least these are vegetables that can be eaten raw. Lettuce, lentils, it depends on how you are pronouncing it, where you are coming from. Parsley, it depends on how you are pronouncing it, where you are coming from. So you can now add your banana to it also. But in this situation, you add little sugar to taste, just little. But that's why I said it depends, it's optional. That's why anything I'm saying, I say it depends on what you want to achieve. But if you're not using your sugar, at least your vegetable, your banana, everything is there. But if you can make it as your own home part. Not really sweetener, maybe breakfast, depends on what you want. You want to make it more richer, add your milk. If you don't have your granules and have everything, has done the For this one, we did not fry the granules. We just use the granules like that because sometimes when you fry it, it will not give you that milky color. So we want to see the milky color. That was why we didn't really fry it. And sometimes even in the process of frying, people deep fry it and it will not really, though it comes out with a scent, good scent, but we want the milky color out of it. So this is it. For this one, we use cabbage. It's cabbage that I use for this very particular.
We'll make a better day, just you and me. So we all must let a helping hand. We are the world. We are the world. We are the children. We are the children. We are the
I'm very honored to be here in Nigeria. It was my second time here by our WASPEN invitation. Today we did a practical assessment about enteral nutrition. It's one of the type of clinical nutrition that we do as medical physicians. It's parenteral and enteral nutrition. Then I did a practical view of enteral nutrition in various aspects of enteral nutrition. How to insert the tube, which type of diets you can choose, which type of diets is available, what the method of administration. I did an overview about the field of enteral nutrition here at WASPEN. Malnutrition is it's an issue that is very concerned, because if you think that some type of cellulars don't evolve like neural cells, you can, if you lack of nutrients, and even in the first time of the period of a child, it can be something that is not gonna work up in an adult. So malnutrition is something very important for every nation. So if you fight back malnutrition, you get a strong population and a strong country. Nutri is a company based in Brazil that was invited by WASPEN to help show up the products of formulas, because our formulas, as is made in Brazil, Brazil is a mixed population. We have a lot of African people, and then our composition is based for the how do I say, a genomic target of the population. So our formulas are very adapt to be here in Nigeria, and the price is very good. So it's a conjunction of factors that bring us here to Nigeria. The first step is to introduce the formulas, see the results by itself. The people are going to see the results of the formula. Our enteral nutrition is something very widespread across the globe. So when the medical doctors and the population see the results, they want to have a factory here in Nigeria. And that's the second and natural step to establish a factory here in Nigeria.